Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Sandy Toe Tarot. My name is Laura. It is very good to be with you guys again. It's been a while, at least 10 days since I posted a video. As many of you know, I have been on vacation and I've been enjoying that very much, but I'm also very excited to get back into the readings on a regular basis. I usually post twice a week, so I plan on continuing to do that. And then also I'm thinking about maybe doing some astrology-based pick-a-cards on other topics. Like maybe I might start that with romance, but we'll see how that goes. Look for that in the coming weeks. For this particular pick-a-card, I've felt compelled to do this what is my calling in life reading. So please know that these are very general readings, right? So what this will probably be about is if someone is kind of knows what it is, but they're maybe vacillating between a couple of things, or they think they know what it is, but they kind of are doubting it a little bit. So this reading should be used as confirmation. It can also be used, like maybe if you have been soul searching as of late for what your calling is in life, what direction you need to go in. Maybe you're at a crossroads, you're changing jobs or something. You're thinking about going back to school. So hopefully this will give you a little bit of guidance about what direction might be good for you, keeping in mind that throughout a person's lifetime, they can have several callings. You can have one occupation and help people tremendously in that occupation, but then later on in life, things change and you are compelled to go in a different direction. That happens all the time. So you don't necessarily just have one calling in life. So I do have 4 piles down here, and I do have crystals on each of the piles, and the crystals were chosen specifically for this particular reading. So I will put the camera down and you will be able to see what piles are available and what crystals are on top of them. Hopefully that will help you pick. You don't necessarily have to choose by the crystal. You can choose any way you want to. But I'm going to go ahead and get started on this What's My Calling in Life pick-a-card reading, and I hope you enjoy it. So I think you can see everything that you need to see here. Again, so this reading is going to be What's My Calling in Life, and I have 4 piles out here. The first pile I have is the amethyst quartz. This is a brand new one, very rough cut. The second pile has the aqua aura quartz on it. The third pile has a clear quartz on it, rough cut. And the fourth pile has an opalite or sea opal, it's called both, on it. So I do want to talk a little bit about the cards and what is in these piles here. So I'm using the Secrets of Tarot by Amanda Hall for just the, it's kind of like the Rider-Waite deck. For the personality traits, I'm using Sacred Contracts, The Journey. This is by Carolyn Miss and Peter Occhiogrosso. You've probably seen these cards before, but you'll probably recognize them as we get into them. And then I have 3 of those in there. Hopefully that will give us some guidance about what your calling is. And then the last card I have is a oracle card just for some very general guidance about what your calling might be. And that's from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle by Kyle Gray with artwork by Lily Moses. As always, I do have my Rider-Waites ready. This is a real small deck of Rider-Waite cards. I will use these for clarifiers if I need to. Okay, so once again, go ahead and choose your pile. This is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4, and I will get started on pile 1. As always, the timestamps will be in the description box below. So if you chose pile 1 for this reading, what is my calling in life? As I said, I did choose the crystals and the quartz that I put on these piles specifically for the pile. And this is an amethyst, and I chose that because amethyst helps you stay grounded, tranquil, and calm, and its literal meaning is not intoxicated, so it's used a lot of times when you want to promote clear thinking. All right, so let's take a look at the messages in these cards. The Angels and Ancestor Oracle will save, because that's going to be just some general guidance for what we find here in the cards. All right, from the Sacred Contract, we have Networker. We have Gossip. And we have Rebel. Okay, let's take a look at the light. Okay, so for each one of these cards, there's a light aspect and a shadow aspect. For these purposes, we're going to, because we're trying to figure out what your calling is, we're just going to look at the light aspect and see if we can pull these together to kind of help you with a direction. So the Rebel, the light aspects or light attributes are challenges authority to affect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. That's a Rebel. The Gossip is light attributes, awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. This is the Gossip. And for the Networker, enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. That's networking. Okay, so what I kind of thought of immediately when I saw this is these three together, just kind of how they work together, was a journalist, news anchor, some type, maybe a public relations professional because of the networker part of it. But the reason I say a journalist is I feel like the role of a journalist is to, first of all, gather information and share it with people. That's kind of at its simplest form what journalists do. They find out what is going on and they share that information with the public. Certainly, journalists have an obligation to not tell everything they know, but to choose what they tell so that they're honoring the trust of the people who are reading their material or who are watching their news reports, so that they're getting accurate information that has been fact-checked and is as balanced as it can possibly be. It is very hard to get the whole picture in one news story, and that's why news organizations will report on something over and over and over again, because as they get new information, the story kind of changes. So one of the roles of a journalist is to be a watchdog of government. And because of that, they are seen as rebels, and they probably are a little bit of rebels. They're not afraid to challenge authority. It's kind of like their job. They are supposed to be making sure that the people in power are doing it correctly. Because of that, they're seen sometimes as not having the respect for authority that they should, because they're absolutely not afraid to challenge authority. So that was the first thing that I saw when I saw all this together. I know that it takes all these things here to make a good journalist. So it could be, not, you don't have to take that literally like you should be a journalist, but maybe your role is to find information and to share it with others. Not being afraid to challenge authority, like whistleblowers, right? For an organization, or not for an organization, but a whistleblower in an organization. They find something that is not right. They take this information to some kind of authority, so that they can act on the information, so that it will come to the light, so that it's out there in the open for everybody to see. Maybe your calling is to is in social change, is in finding something that's happening that is not right out there in the world, sharing that information with other people. And the networking piece of it is like maybe building an organization that works on a specific problem. Let's just take the environment, for example. You have a passion about clean water. You find that the powers that be are doing something to contaminate the water. You're absolutely not afraid to go up against those powers that be. You will tell anybody that you need to tell. You'll gather your information right, and then you'll build a network around people who are committed to solving this problem. So I hope I'm being clear with that, how I see this kind of being a calling thing. Let's see what we got here. With the Secrets of Tarot, we got the Eight of Wands, and on this particular card it says speedy news or situation coming, arrows of love. We got the King of Pentacles, which is for me the Gemini card, and we got Temperance, testing the waters, money restrictions, and testing the waters. Okay, so this kind of clarifies for me, or actually it kind of solidifies for me what I was already saying. The King of Pentacles, when you talk about the Geminis, those are the great communicators. They are the excellent communicators. That is one of their most likable attributes. They're very curious people. They're inquisitive. They're going to go out and they're going to get the information, and they're going to communicate it with the masses. So that takes me back a little more towards a journalist, a newscaster, a public relations person. They would do that same kind of thing. This says speedy news or situation coming. That's the Eight of Wands is a lot of energy coming at you at the same time. It can also be just a lot of information coming at you at the same time. And then the Temperance card is a balancing. Remember when I said that a journalist they have to be sure that they're presenting the information in a balanced way. So this kind of reiterates for me that it's some kind of a communicator, probably through a television, through some kind of medium, whether it's television or whether it's in writing. You're communicating information, tons of information that you've gathered, and that you're balancing. Before you disseminate it to the population. So I think that's very clear. Let's see what kind of guidance we got from the angels and ancestors. Sky Father, trust in the unknown. Okay, Sky Father, trust in the unknown. I'm going to read this from the book, Angels and Ancestors Oracle Cards Guidebook by Kyle Gray. So the message is, trust that your path is unfolding exactly as it needs to. You have a personal relationship with the Great Father. Know that He is He is lovingly leading you forward. You are a co-creator of your life, and every thought, feeling, intention, and emotion you have is creating the road ahead. With that being said, you don't need to know every single detail of what is going to unfold before you. When this card appears, you're being guided to step back and get out of your own way, because there is a greater power that is not only around you but within you. And Sky Father is creating the best experience imaginable for you. Accepting this will allow miraculous energy to come into your life. So see things from a higher perspective, like the eagle on the card. So for pile one, if this resonates with you and this path feels like it is going to be for you, where you are gathering a lot of information and disseminating it to a broader audience, do not be concerned if that is not happening right now. What this card is saying is you have to trust that a higher power is leading your path. You don't have to know all the answers right now. This path, if it is for you, will unfold for you in the right time, and you have to trust that. So I hope that reading resonated with you. If it did, please put a comment down below. And if it did not, as I said, just let it go. But in any case, I do hope that you enjoyed the reading. Until next time, I am sending you guys so much light and love. Namaste. So if you chose pile 2 with the aqua or quartz, these are going to be your messages for what is my calling in life. And I chose the aqua or quartz because it releases negative energy, and it also encourages angel messages and angel communication. So I think that's something you need whenever you're trying to figure out what your calling in life is. So let's check in with the angels and see what we can find out in these cards here. Okay, so the angel and ancestor card will be just guidance for the end of the reading. I'll put that over there for now. And let's take a look at what we have for the sacred contract cards. We are going to just look at the light attributes for these because we were trying to figure out what your calling is in life, not necessarily what you need to work on. So the first card that you got is Hero or Heroine, and the light attribute is passion for a journey of personal empowerment. The second card you got is Avenger, and the light attribute is desire to balance the scale of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. And the third card you got is Child Magical. The light attribute is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Okay. So Hero, Avenger, and Child Magical. Childlike in the magic realm. This almost sounds like a superhero, doesn't it? righteousness on behalf of society, a hero, a child, magical, seeing the potential for sacred. Okay. Okay. So here's what I am thinking when I see all this together. I'm sure some of you know or have heard of a guardian ad litem. It is a person who is not in the justice system but works with the justice system when a child is involved in some kind of situation that has to go through the courts. A lot of times that's an adoption. It can be some, maybe some abuse that is being tried in the court system. So a guardian ad litem is kind of the person, the advocate for that child that helps that child through that justice system and helps them seek or get at least not damaged. If they can't get justice, they at least the guardian ad litem at least helps the child not get damaged while going through the court process. But it is an advocate for that child, and in that way is a hero to that child. So that's the first thing that I'm kind of picking up on here. Another thing that I'm kind of picking up on, where it says this light attributes for the child magical, is seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. It almost seems like someone who has a vision for the future that does not necessarily fit with the status quo or the system or conventional wisdom. Again, we'll take that an example like how about this? Okay, we'll take the example of no child should ever go hungry. That is a belief that everything is possible. That is a magical belief that everything is possible. Every child should be fed every night of their life, every day, every morning for breakfast, every day at lunch. Every child should be well fed. It's not the reality that we live in, but this person sees that as a possibility, believes in the magic that can absolutely happen. So they are going to balance the scales of justice by going out and being a hero, a passion for a journey of personal empowerment, taking up that journey of figuring out how to make that happen, and then going out there and making it happen. They're like an avenger for that child who is hungry, and a hero to that child who is hungry, but totally believes so much in the magic, believes that absolutely can happen, and is willing to be the mass crusader for that dream. Okay, let's see what we have here with the Sacred Tarot. We have the Nine of Swords. Tears and frustrations, letting go of emotions. The Nine of Swords. The Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is walking away from a situation to go find that ninth cup. That ultimate fulfillment, the ninth cup, walking away, taking the journey. And the King of Swords, which is, ironically, is the Libra card for me. And the Libras are all about the balance and the justice. So that fits right in with this card of the Avenger. Desire to balance the scales of justice, righteousness on behalf of society or oneself. So to me, okay, so you got a hero here that is willing to go the distance, to take the journey, to go to the places where they need to go to fulfill this dream, to make this pipe dream a reality. And by doing that, alleviating the worry from someone who needs help, someone who cannot do it on their own, basically like a child. Eliminating this worry by figuring out, taking the journey to figure out how to do it and balance the scales. Justice, finding justice for some people who really, really need help. So that's what I see as the calling here. So let's see what we have from the angels and ancestors. Eagle, see from a higher perspective. And from the book Angels and Ancestors by Kyle Gray. Eagle, look at things from a different angle, fly higher and see new possibilities. Eagle medicine swirls around you, encouraging you to recognize that your views or vision may be limited at this time. Is there a chance that your own desperation, needs, or ego could be blocking you from seeing the potential in your current situation? If there are other people involved, you are being guided to see things from everyone's perspective. If you are feeling the need for something to change, how can you take the higher road? Know that if you have intentions that aren't for the highest good, it will only hold you back. Eagle medicine can help you change this. The eagle brings the energy of healing and love directly from the heart of Father Sky and invites you to do all things from a place of love. So that's good guidance for someone who takes it upon themselves to balance the scales of justice. Sometimes, you don't want to take justice in your own hands without looking at things from the broader perspective. Without, yes, it's very easy to see that, especially like if you're dealing with a situation like a child being hungry, you just automatically, want to go gung-ho and fix that problem and make sure that all the children are fed. But you have to look at things from a broad perspective, really analyze the problem before you get in there and start trying to figure out how it needs to be done or telling people how it needs to be done. So looking at things from a broad perspective is good advice for someone who has the calling of finding injustices in life and helping to fix them. It's almost a warning to be a little bit humble. Don't assume you have all the answers. Okay, so that's what I have for pile 2. I hope this reading was very helpful for you in finding your calling, or at least pointing you in a direction where you might want to try, at least. Hopefully your life is very long and you can have multiple callings in life. Okay, so that's all I had for pile 2. Until next time, I'm wishing you guys all the best. Namaste. Okay, so if you chose pile 3 with the clear crystal quartz, these are going to be your messages for the reading, What is My Calling in Life? So I chose the quartz crystal because it gives you a clear mind, body, and spirit. It just cleans all the clutter away, and it helps you align with your higher self. So seems like if you are looking for your calling in life, you might want to tap into your higher self. So that's why I chose that particular crystal for pile 3. So this green card is the Angels and Ancestors Oracle, so I will hold off on that because that's just like guidance for the whole picture. All right, so for the Sacred Contracts card, you got Child Wounded. The light attributes are awakens compassion and desire to serve others, other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. You got Mystic. The light attribute is revels in intimate union with the divine. And Storyteller. The light attribute is ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Okay. This is very interesting. So, to me, it's just almost like 1, 2, 3. So you are a very spiritual person, and you have a gift. You have some kind of gift with the connection that you have to spirit. You could be many things. You could be a religious leader. You could be a clairvoyant. You could be a clairsentient. You could be psychic. You could be some kind of a guru. You could be a meditation instructor or a yoga instructor. Whatever it is, you have a very, very strong connection with the divine. You're able to tap into the divine to provide answers for you and for other people. Because it looks to me like because you may have been wounded as a child yourself, you have a mission in this life or a calling in this life to help other people who might have been abused in some way as a child, abused or hurt in some way, and I feel like you're going to tap into the divine in order to help these children. And this could be like even a psychic or a psychology thing, like a child psychologist. A child psychologist could absolutely have a very strong connection to the divine, and in their field of psychology help children, and not necessarily talk about this too much, about how they know things that they know. Like if they have the psychology background and training, they could just be a psychologist and help children in that way. But it seems to me like it's more than that. It's more than helping children deal with some kind of trauma that they've had. You will take it to a broader audience. Maybe after you have worked with children long enough and have gathered enough knowledge of how to help them, you put that in story form in some way through training materials that you use to train other psychologists, or through maybe even just books, like children's books that you write to help children deal with this trauma. Or maybe it's through, if it's not through training or it's not through children's books, maybe it's through some kind of a self-help book. In some way, you will use the stories anonymously, of course, when you're dealing with psychology and those types of traumas and issues. You certainly don't use people's names, real names, but you can use their experiences and write about that to help others, to help educators, to help psychologists, to help the victims themselves. In some way, you're telling the story to help others. Okay, so let's see what we have here from the Sacred Tarot. We have the Knight of Swords. We have the Devil card. And we have the Ace of Swords. Okay, so I think this card, the Devil card has a lot of meanings. It can be like stuck. It can mean like addictions. It can be like situations that are holding you back. But in this particular situation, I think it's pretty obvious that it's your calling is to deal with this shadow side of people who have been wounded and might feel stuck in that situation, might feel like victims in that situation, might feel like they don't know how to get out of it. And even if they're already out of it on a physical level, they might still have wounds that they carry that keep them stuck in their lives. You know what I mean? So I think you're definitely dealing with the shadow aspects of abuse and how that impacts people, particularly when they're children, but does carry over into adulthood. And this is just you. First of all, carrying the sword of truth, not being afraid to tell this truth that happens in these people's lives. And the knight is carrying that sword, the sword of truth, the sword of clarity. The Ace of Swords is also a new beginning out of adversity. So you could very well be helping people begin again, a new life out of something that starts out bad, but you help them see a way through. And that's you carrying that sword of truth to help them see a way through to a better life. Okay, so the Angels and Ancestor card that you got is Lord, take charge with authority. Okay, so the message is, don't be afraid to take charge or use your voice. Be strong. Sometimes you have to take control in order to be honored. If you feel that your kindness or gifts are being taken for granted, it's time to change that. There is no excuse for bad behavior. And the ancestors are encouraging you to hold your ground and speak your mind in a fiercely loving way. You have the energy and might to overcome dramas or energies that aren't working for your growth, and it's time to take charge before you find yourself in a situation you don't want to be in. You are being encouraged to be the boss instead of being bossed. So that's very interesting. So take charge of this truth that you have, Take charge of this truth. I think this comes over here. I think that this comes naturally, working with children, working with people who are wounded, working with people who may have been abused as a child. I think this comes very naturally for you. Like you're so tapped into the divine. You realize that we're all here to contribute something. So you do, having been wounded yourself as a child, do know that has some aspect of why you're here, why you went through that experience, is to help other people. So you know that instinctively. This part is easy for you, but taking up that sword and doing this, taking up that sword of truth, running with that sword of truth, and using it to, like, in a very real world, take charge kind of way, do this bit of it. Put the training materials together. Write that book. Take charge of this information and this ability that you have to put it out into the world. So that is what that advice means. The Lord card from the angel and ancestor, it means do it. Take charge with authority. You have been given this knowledge. You have been given this particular problem to work through in life, so that you can help other people. So that's all I had for pile 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading, and until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste. So if you chose pile 4 with the sea opal or the opal light, these are going to be your messages for what's my calling in life. I did choose this one because it enhances psychic ability, enhances spirituality, and helps with meditation and transitions. So to me, that seems like a good stone to use when you're trying to tap into your intuition and figure out what your calling is. So here are your messages. The green card is the general guidance from the Angels and Ancestors Oracle. Once we get all of these other cards out, we'll take a look at that. For the sacred contracts, we got Beggar. Light attributes confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival, awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. We got Prostitute. Accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. And we got Lover. Great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. So the first thing that comes to mind when I see these cards together, Beggar, Prostitute, and Lover, don't take this the wrong way, is a fundraiser for a charity. I feel like that when they have this serious devotion to a cause, when they have such an obsessive passion, but not in a bad way, about something that they believe in so much, that they are willing to go out and beg for money, prostitute themselves in some ways, and not in like the literal way, not in like having sex to get the money for this charity, but compromising some things to get the money that they need, and in some cases begging for it. That's just true. Because they have such a passion for the cause that they're gathering the money for, that they're raising the funds for. They have such a passion for it. Many times that is a very worthy cause. It can be a charity. It can be a foundation like that provides health care to people. it can be so many things that these fundraisers have to get money for. But usually it's for a good cause, right? It's not just for money for jewelry. You're not prostituting yourself or begging for money just for jewelry. You're doing it because you feel so passionate about this cause that you're working for. So that is what comes to mind when I see these cards together. Let's see what we have here. So the Ace of Cups, security and a helping hand. The Seven of Cups, all that glitters is not gold. Look beyond the clouds, money improvements. And we have the Nine of Pentacles, peace of mind and contentment. The Nine of Pentacles is the card of abundance, is the card of having everything that you need in a financial way. It usually means it's like a lady that's on her own that has everything that she could possibly need, but that's not necessarily true. The Seven of Cups is the card of having so many options and looking at all of those options, picking one, choosing one to focus on. And then the Ace of Cups is absolute abundance. Again, kind of goes along with this. So this is definitely about money. It's definitely about finding which avenue, the Seven of Cups, which avenue do you need to approach to get this money. There are so many ways to get funds for this charity that you're working for. Just choose the one that is working best for you and take that avenue. And this is about having so much and being able to help other people with it. It's that philanthropy thing. This is definitely about philanthropy in some way. If it is not a actual person that is a fundraiser for a charity, it is about you have so much that your role in life is to be a philanthropist, to help people, to help other people who do not have as much as you do. Okay, so that's what I'm seeing for 4. Let's look at this. So the message from the angels and ancestors is Stargazer, set your sights higher. Wow. All right, so the message is go beyond your limitations and believe that the impossible is possible. You are on the verge of a miracle. All of your dreams and aspirations are within your grasp, and you are being guided to focus on your vision. The angels who are with you are encouraging you. There is nothing that you cannot have or achieve. There's an opportunity at this time to heal an old wound or pattern of luck and not feeling good enough. Of lack, and not feeling good enough. In the past, you've often found it impossible to recognize your worth and to believe that you are deserving of blessings. Angel and ancestor wisdom is reminding you that you are an incredible and infinite spark of the universe, and the universe is not only within you, it absolutely adores you. You are talented, filled with strength, and have the abilities you need to turn your wildest dreams into reality. Okay, so in this philanthropy that you are doing, in raising the funds for this charity that you're trying to raise funds for, this message is saying set your sights higher, go bigger, go home. You could have the capacity to make a huge impact for this passion that you have. What is it that you love? What is it that you're very passionate about? How do you want to heal the world with this financial aid? That's a good calling to have. Okay, so that's all I have for pile 4. Until next time, I'm sending you lots of light and love. Namaste.